Bonjour tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez très bien. Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well and bienvenue dans mon nouveau cours de français. So welcome to my new French class. I'm really excited to be filming another French class for you guys and I really hope that you enjoy it. Before we get started, I have a little gift for you for your French lessons. C'est un petit cahier, a little notebook, and I thought that you could take this and make some notes during the class. Okay, here you go. I'll just put it here next to you. Alright, so you're more than welcome to use that to make your notes. Okay? Alright, so in the last French lesson we learned a little bit about nouns and when to use masculine and feminine for certain objects, like with le or la. Okay, so today we're going to do a very basic French grammar lesson on how to conjugate verbs. So French grammar can be quite complicated because each verb is conjugated depending on if it's I, he, she, you, we, they, and sometimes each conjugation can sound quite different, but with a little bit of practice you can get the hang of it, so don't worry. And today we're going to start with some very basics so we don't overwhelm you too much. Does that sound good? Okay, let's get started. Okay, on commence par le verbe, so we'll start with the verb to be. Okay, it's often the first verb conjugation that you learn when you're learning French. So in French, the verb to be, in its infinitive form, is être. Être, to be. Okay, so this is the infinitive form, and what we need to do is conjugate it. Okay, so let me show you how to conjugate être. So when we want to say in French I am, we don't say je être, like that would translate as I to be. Instead, we would say je, I, suis. Je suis, I am. Je suis. Okay. Now, if we want to say you are, but we're talking to someone we know well, like a friend or family member, we would use tu. Now, bear in mind there are two ways to say you. I'll explain a little bit more when we get to the other way, but tu is the informal way. Okay, so yeah, more with friends, family, children, you know, people you know well. And so to conjugate to the informal way, it's tuer. Tuer. So we have je suis tuer. Je suis. Je suis tuer. Okay, so I am, you are. The next one is he or she, which is il or elle. Okay, so it's the same. So il for male, elle female, and that is conjugated similarly to il est or elle est. Okay, so again we have je suis, which means I am. Very good. We have tu es. Alright, so you are informal. Il, he, elle, she, est, is. Okay, so il, elle, est, he or she is. Alright, have you written it down in your notebook? Perfect. Okay. So now let's look at 3 other ways that we need to conjugate the verbs. So the next one is we, and that is nous. Okay, nous. Sorry, it's a bit cramped. It's a bit cramped there. Nous sommes. That's we are. Nous sommes. Nous sommes. Okay, good. Then after nous, we have the formal way to say you, which is vous. So, vous would be used maybe for people you don't know well, people that are older than you, when you want to use formal French, basically. I often use vous with people that I've just met for the first time, you know, in the street if I'm just chatting to someone. But yeah, sometimes people who don't know me, they will use tu with me, and I'm, you know, perfectly okay with that. It doesn't matter. But it can depend, and vous is mostly formal. And to say you are in the formal way, vous êtes. Vous êtes. And in this case we pronounce the S because it's followed by this vowel, une voyelle. Okay, so vous êtes. Vous êtes. So it's like you are. Also, one thing you should know is that vous is also used to describe more than, to address more than one person. So if I want to talk to a group of people, I won't say tu, I'll say vous, which means everyone there. Okay, and the final way, we'll need to learn how to say they. So for this one, it depends on if we're addressing a group of males or a group of females. And we would say il ou elle again, but followed by sont. So ils sont or elles sont. Okay, and this is they are. Ils sont when we're addressing a group of males, boys, men, or elles sont, ils sont, elles sont for females. Okay, so now let's do a quick recap of how to conjugate être. Okay, so can you remind me how to conjugate I am, how to conjugate être into I am, sorry. Very good. Je suis. Je suis. Très bien. Je suis. Okay, and for you are informal, tu es. Very good. Je suis, tu es. So an example sentence, if I want to say, let me see, I am happy, I could say je suis. And this depends on the gender, as again, like French is a very heavily gender-based language. Je suis content. Je suis content, I am happy. Content is the masculine version, and we add an E. Je suis contente for the feminine version. So, je suis content, or tu es content, je suis contente, tu es contente. Okay, do you remember how to conjugate into French he is and she is? Good. Il est, elle est, well done. We are, nous sommes, very good. And you, as in formal or addressing more than one person. Vous êtes, well done. And finally for they are. Ils sont masculine, elles sont feminine. Very good. Okay, so the next verb we're going to conjugate is faire, which is to do. So this is the infinitive form. Okay, faire. So how do we conjugate faire? To do. For example, I do my homework. Okay, here we go. So again, je, I, alright. Here we go. So, je fais, I do. Okay. Now, for tu, it's really simple because it's the same spelling and pronunciation. Je fais, tu fais. Okay? Je fais, tu fais. I do, you do. And the next one, il or elle, we change it a little bit. So we have il or elle, he or she, fait. The pronunciation is the same. Il fait, elle fait. Je fais, tu fais, il fait, elle fait. Okay? So after il fait, we have nous faisons. Nous faisons. Nous faisons. Je fais, tu fais, il fait, elle fait, nous faisons. Nous faisons. That's we do. Then, for formal, you, as we talked about before, remember vous is formal, we have vous faites. Vous faites. Vous faites. You do. Okay? And then we have il ou elle. For they, il ou elle font. Okay? Ils font, elles font. Ils font, elles font. So, an example sentence with I do could be je fais mes devoirs. Je fais mes devoirs. Je fais mes devoirs. I do my homework, and in this case it's plural, so it would be me. We won't get into that too much now. It changes for each for each conjugation. So for example, tu fais tes devoirs, il fait ses devoirs. So that's a little bit too complicated now. This is just an example sentence. Je fais mes devoirs. So I do my homework, and the me would change for everyone. Alright, let's do a quick recap of how to conjugate faire. So I want you to cover your notes in your book, okay, and try and do this little quiz. So how would we conjugate I do, je fais, well done. Informal, you do. Tu fais, great. He or she does. Il fait, elle fait, well done. We do. Nous faisons, well done. You, informal. You, formal. Vous faites. And they do. Ils font or elles font, depending on if it's masculine or feminine. You're right, well done. Très bien. Okay, let's try one more very common verb in French, which is aller, to go. Aller in infinitive form. Aller. Which means to go. How do we conjugate aller? Let's take a look. Comment conjuguer le verbe aller? How to conjugate the verb aller? Okay, so I go would be conjugated to je vais. Je vais. I go. Well done. Then tu. Tu vas. Je vais. I go. Tu vas. Informal. You go. Tu vas. Then we have he or she, il ou elle va, il ou elle va, he or she goes. Okay. Je vais, tu vas, il ou elle va. Then we have oui, nous, nous allons, we go. Nous allons, we go. Then we have for you, formal, vous allez, vous allez. And finally, for they, ils, elles vont. Ils ou elles vont. Okay? Alright, so let me give you an example sentence. Let's say, if we want to say, I go, or I'm going to the park, we would say, je vais au parc. Je vais au parc. And just like I was talking about before, this preposition will change depending on the gender of the noun. In this case, the noun parc is masculine, so we would use au. However, if, for example, I wanted to say I'm going to somewhere that has that is a feminine noun, like school, for example, we would say à la, or in this case, because there is a vowel, à l'école. Je vais à la. It's usually à la, but in this case, à l'école. Alright, because we have the vowel here, so we put the L apostrophe, L apostrophe, vowel, voyelle. Je vais à l'école. And that stays the same. So, for example, tu vas à l'école, or il va à l'école. This doesn't change. Okay, perfect. Okay, so in today's French lesson, we've learned the basics of conjugating verbs in the present tense. So there are a lot of verbs to learn in French, I'm not going to lie to you, and it can be quite confusing and overwhelming, but as I said at the start, practice makes perfect, so, you know, try making some example sentences, and that's going to be your homework for this week. I want you to take your lovely notebook, okay? Take your lovely notebook, and I want you to write some example sentences using the verbs that we've learned. Yeah, of course you can use the internet or a dictionary to help you, that's not a problem at all. Okay, well, merci beaucoup, thank you very much, and à bientôt, see you soon. Okay, take care.